Good evening. How everybody doing this evening? Something came across my mind, right, and I just want to share it with everybody. And before I do, I want to say this. We all have our different beliefs, and when it comes to religion, when it comes to faith, and just when it comes to humanity in itself. Um, so everyone's perception is going to be different. Here's my question, okay? Question slash statement. We talk about the first race on planet Earth and who was the first race or whatever like that, right? Um, I have watched videos. I have now read literature that indicates that. And before I go further, this is an opinion. It's my perception on what I've read. It could be wrong or it could be right, but just bear with me and you know do some research. I say that over and over again. Do some research. So the literature that I've read, and the other information that I have acquired, it goes back to Africa. Original man comes from Africa. However, if anybody's familiar with the Anunnakis, they're supposed to be the gods, right? Um, that came to Earth, okay? Extraterrestrial, whatever you like to call them, came to Earth and interbred with the human race, which supposedly been the first race, stands from Africa. So my question would be this: if the Anunnakis are gods from another planet that came to Earth and bred and made a hybrid race, which, don't quote me on this, would be the Nordics or the white race, um, the Greys or whatever have you. So if that was the case, if first man was here on Earth was in Africa, then who created them? Who created that race? So when we look at our times right now, and I want to say this, and this popped into my head, I want to say this first of all. I personally think that we're coming to an end of a cycle. And I say that because of this. The human race is now cloning and is able to create artificial limbs. Well, limbs that somebody might have been, you lost a limb in the service, or just lost a limb in a car accident. They are now able to clone these parts off of cells, and so we're basically doing what was once done prior. Years and years and decades and decades. I'm talking about BC, before Christ, and all this good stuff. Um, and the world ended. The world ended. They talk about the Sumerian tablets and so forth and things of this nature. And this is where a lot of this information is coming from, the Sumerian tablets. So again, it just dawned on me. If they said that, Lulu, right? Lulu, they talk about being Adam. They created Adam. Um, then from Adam, they created Lu, which would have been Eve. So they created this race of people to be slaves to the gods, to the extraterrestrial. Excuse me if I saying it incorrectly, but they created so they can be slaves to these this other race. So if that's the case, and I don't mean no kind of harm or no pun intended about what I'm about to say, it's just a thought process, so don't take it wrong. That would mean that the white race was slaves before the black race. And so if you was bred to be slaves to these gods, um, and somewhere along the line, and I'm pretty sure that'll come about, that you took over the world, you took, and it would makes a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense because you would be a part of a race that has the technology that the people on Earth would not have. So that will put you in power and be able to take and have takeover that was made. Because I always wondered, I talked to people, they were like, yeah, we used to do this. I'm like, man, then tell me how the hell how they take the power. If we was here first, how did they take over? And I guess I have my answer for what I see. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, you're a hybrid race of another race, and so that other race was more powerful and more, just more advanced than anything that we had here on Earth. And so that's why, in my opinion, that the power shifted to the white race. And again, and I think that's why, they call the Aryan race the what they call that. Excuse me for a second. I'm kind of like jumping all over the place, but I'm trying to stay on focus here. Basically calling the Aryan race the dominant race, right? So, and the Aryan race is also coming off is a hybrid of these other races, other, what you would call them, extraterrestrial, these hybrid breeds. It's it's wild, man, just to think of these type of things, but how everything comes into line. And I always like to say, we all have learned to have comprehension, even from elementary school when they used to have us do dot to dot or find a little puzzle, find your way out the puzzle. That was building comprehension skills. Do you comprehend how to do this, and so forth and so forth? So I'm not by far the smartest man. But it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. And the literature that I've read, it speaks about how, life on Earth is just a repeat of what has happened before. And so I truly believe that we're coming to an end of a cycle. When the people that was made to be slaves or created to be slaves become empowered and put the gods or the other life forms in jeopardy, that still have more knowledge than we do, remind you, I think things are going to shift. They have the capability of controlling weather, Earth. It's limitless. I used to watch Ancient Aliens and things like that, and they talk about a lot of landmarks, or not. Well, I guess you call them landmarks. I might be choosing the wrong word, but hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying, right? Like oh man, I'm all over the place. Pyramids in Giza. They got pyramids all over the world. How was these pyramids built? And who taught these people to build these pyramids? And if you talk about slaves again, then those pyramids was used for some type of technology, right, that they had back then that I'm pretty sure we understand. You know what I'm saying? Because we still have that connection with these other beings. Whether they're out in the open or not, that's a different story. But we have these pyramids all over the world, and they're used for certain things, right? Just like they talk about how we got these energy grids and so forth. And I believe at one point they was part of these energy grids, and this is how they communicate, and this is how they probably did a lot of things. And I'm pretty sure that'll come to me later as well. But there's I'm trying to be careful about what I say, because I'm not 100% about anything that I'm speaking about. I'm just speaking my mind, and some things you just have to be careful about. But anyway, so again, if the human race on Earth was dark skinned, dark pigmentation, right? And you have other people who say we all came from one race. In this book that I've been reading, it speaks that they have took genetics from a woman of color. And the only difference in African Americans and American Europeans is the pigmentation, which is melanin. That's in the black skin, right? That's in the dark skin. That's, if I'm using the right word. This is because of the sun. And so it would make more, it still makes sense because back in them days, it was a lot hotter. You know what I mean? So it would make sense. But anyway, like I was saying, they have did genetic testing on women of all, nationalities. And they said they all had one thing in common, that it links them back to a genetic from extending from Africa. So we're all connected. You know what I'm saying? We're very much all connected. We just lived in different regions. Um, I personally, let me shift gears a little bit. I personally believe in aliens or extraterrestrial, or whatever you choose to call them. I always have. Um, I pray. I have faith. I always have had faith. You know why I shouldn't say I always have? Because the gods is something I never played with. But they found me in when I was living in the streets. I was living on my vehicle for like 5 years, off and on, and the guys really presented themselves to me in ways I can't even explain. But I tried to, through media, and tell people what I experienced. But even then, I didn't know what I was experiencing. I have a little bit more understanding now than I did once before. Um, and I'm humble and grateful that I was able to be shared that with, that was brought to me. I'm still afraid because I don't know, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what my life is gonna be like. All this newfound information is overwhelming, but at the same time, it's like you can breathe, because you ever been in a situation you just didn't know what was going to happen until, like, okay, prime example, going to a job interview, and you have all this anxiety built up, and it's like you have to get it over with, right? And once you get it over with, it's like, phew, whether you get it or not, you know what I'm saying, they call you later, you still